The kid is asleep. Dishes are washed. Chores are done. So let's go ahead and listen to some Pulp. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining me today as we dive into this track, David's Last Summer, off of Pulp's fourth studio album, His and Hers, released in 1994. We're listening to this track because it was suggested and sponsored by Andreas. Andreas, thank you so much for the recommendation, and thank you so much for the support as well. I truly appreciate that. Is there someone named David in the band? Not that I recall, but I could be wrong. No, I don't see anyone named David here in the band. So who is the subject? We'll have to learn a little bit. Funny enough with Andreas, even in his comment, he's 6 years ago, he requested another song that we listened to from Pulp, the first song actually that we listened to them, She's Dead, which, let me pull up my Spotify here for you. Hold on, go to my library. Ooh, here we go. Go to my library. I got a wild, it's way down in here. It's way down in here somewhere. It's down here somewhere. Pulp, She's Dead. Because it was, like 6 years ago. There it is. Pulp, She's Dead. Look at when it was added, guys. October 27, 2019. Time sure does fly. Let's go ahead and listen to the track. You may be asking yourself as we do this, JP, we were listening to the first album. What happened? I haven't forgotten about it. It's just maybe I kind of forgot about it. Let's listen to the song. We'll talk about it after. Here we go.
We made our way slowly down the path that led to the stream, swaying slightly, drunk on the sun, I suppose. It was a real summer's day, the air humming with heat, whilst the trees beckoned us into their cool green shade. And when we reached the stream, I put a bottle of cider into the water to chill, both of us knowing that we'd drink it long before it had chance.
Getting that Scott Walker.
This is where we want to be. There's nothing else that you know, and how you spend your time.
Hey, it's very glamorous.
Walking to parties whilst it's still light outside. Peter was upset at first, but now he's in the garden talking to somebody Polish. Why don't we set up a tent and spend the night out there? And we can pretend that we're somewhere fine. But we'll still be able to use the fridge if we get hungry or too hot. This is where
What a cool
we
track.
want to be. There's nothing else that you would know, and how you use your time. Driving.
What a jam this is.
There's nothing else that you know, and how you use your time. Your time.
The bass tunes.
Your time.
scatting, huh? The track has legs.
The room smells faintly of suntan lotion in the evening sunlight. And when you take off your clothes, you're still wearing a small, pale skin bikini. The sound of children playing in the park comes from far away, and time slows down to the speed of the specks of dust floating in the light from the window.
I like how every verse has a slightly different musical background. Like you're the picking of the guitar.
Small things on the train, summer grazes spade on Saturday. Summer nights are slowly getting long. Summer's gone, it'll soon be gone. So we went out to the park at midnight one last time. Past the abandoned glass house stuffed full of dying palms, past the bandstand, and down to the boating lake. And we swam in the moonlight for what seemed like hours, until we couldn't swim anymore. And when we came out of the water, we sensed a certain movement in the air, and we both shivered slightly, and we ran to collect our clothes. And as we walked home, we could hear the leaves curling and turning brown on the trees. And the birds decided where to go for the winter. And the whole sound of summer packing its bags
Like this wind.
and preparing to leave town.
Oh, see what I mean? That final ramp up was just beautifying intensity, just ramping up and ramping up. When that riff comes in, bum, he's hitting those 16th notes, bum, bum. That is just huge. And I love that kind of cry, that echoey cry in the distance as he's just crying out this one last final yell. As this is the final track on the album as well. So that's kind of worth noting, as this has a big sense of going out with a bang. Not a whisper on this one. No, this is a complete fireworks show. Starts off kind of low and builds up from there until those fireworks do go off at the end magnificently. And kind of like with She's Dead, which we listened to 6 years ago. Oh, so long ago. Jarvis is singing in his lower kind of voice, which, like I said, Scott Walker is kind of reminding me a little bit of Tinder Sticks, but it kind of, I can't remember, I can't bring to mind who I'm thinking of, but it reminds me of someone else. It's just not clicking in my mind. But I think that I'm thinking more towards the lead singer of Tindersticks with how he sings here. But I really love that depth of voice with which he brings into here. It has a nice, strong narrative, obviously lyrically, but also just the way that he talks, speaks, delivers into singing has a nice cadence that makes it for easy and richly filled kind of listening, really, as he just kind of goes on. And then, there's moments where he breaks out into singing. There's notes in which he riffs off of. There's some scatting involved at one point, but it really brings you always back down to that grounded vocal speaking manner, which I think is fantastic. And I mentioned it while the song was playing briefly, but I really enjoy how throughout each verse or each time that he comes back to his speaking mannerisms, how the music underneath changes just slightly. It alters in some way. It doesn't shift like this. It just kind of skews to the right, skews to the left. A new element is added. The guitar plays differently at one point. You have some extra organ keyboards at another point. The drums change the rhythm along with bass and just nice, noticeable ways, but still subtle. And I think that's such a cool way to keep the track transformative, as this is also a 7-minute track. So it doesn't, it doesn't stay at a constant, what's the word? It doesn't it doesn't wear out its consistency. It doesn't stay the same just for the sake of staying the same and not changing anything. No, it's very much looking into changing its coat, changing its shoes, but still being the person that it is. The soul of the song is never lost. There's no breakaway solos or crazy change that comes in. It does remain consistent, but it just skews the instruments a little bit. And I think that keeps it extremely fresh as it's playing. And I think this is a really fantastic track. This was a really nice one. Lovely bass playing as well. It has a very glamorous feel to it in the beginning. It kind of soars with elegance. And then that finale is pretty nice. We made our way slowly down the path that led to the stream, swaying slightly, drunk on the sun, I suppose. It was a real summer's day, the air humming with heat, whilst the trees beckoned us into their cool green shade. And when we reached the stream, I put a bottle of cider into the water to chill, both of us knowing that we'd drink it long before it had a chance. Wouldn't even get to that chilling phase. This is where you want to be. There's nothing else but you and her, and how you spend your time. Honestly, a very ideal... excuse me. It went down the wrong way. Choking on air. Imagine that. It's a very idyllic scene of just spending some good time with someone that you're with. I wasn't even doing anything in my throat. Sorry. Walking to parties while it's still light outside. Peter was upset at first, but now he's in the garden talking to somebody Polish. Why don't we set up a tent and spend the night out here? We can pretend that we're somewhere foreign, but we'll still be able to use the fridge if we get hungry or too hot. I like how literal and conversational this is as well. We went driving. This is where you want to be. There's nothing else but you and her and how you use your time. The room smells faintly of suntan lotion in the evening sunlight. And when you take off your clothes, you're still wearing a small pale skin bikini. The tan lines. The sound of children playing in the park comes from far away, and time slows down to the speed of specks of dust floating in the light from the window. Summer leaves fall from summer trees. Summer grazes fade on summer knees. Summer nights are slowly getting long. Summer's going so hurry, soon be gone. Summer days away. Oh. So we went out to the park at midnight one last time, past the abandoned glass house stuffed full of dying palms, past the bandstand and down to the boating lake. And we swam in the moonlight for what seemed like hours until we couldn't swim anymore. And as we came out of the water, we sensed a certain movement in the air, and we both shivered slightly and we ran to collect our clothes. And as we walked home, we could hear the leaves curling and turning brown on the trees. This was a true summer of love, and the birds deciding where to go for the winter. And the whole sound of summer packing its bags and preparing to leave town. Oh, I want you to stay. Please stay for a while. I want you to stay. Please stay for a while. I don't want you to go. Stay. trying to hold on to that summer romance, that feeling, whether this was a fling of season or whether this was just, really, really soaking in the sun and the love and the, just time with someone you're with. It all goes too fast, just fleeting, fleeting, fleeting. A lot of annotations on this particular track. Cocker says, when you get the first hot day of the year, I always get these pictures in my head. You think of all the things that happen in summer, swimming in lakes and building a tree house, and you get quite excited. But then you know that you're not going to do all those things. You're probably just going to end up working like you normally do. But it would be so good just to have one summer that was like that one time. And so I wanted to capture that feeling of those summers that seem to go on forever, and you can do lots of things. And that makes sense because holding on to this, trying to give the appropriate amount of time also makes sense with this track being so long for Pulp in this regard. Is this the longest track on the album? It is. So, not wanting summer to end kind of really fits into not only obviously the music, but the duration of it as well, which is quite nice, quite well written. I would love to know what you guys thought of the track, of course, in the comments down below. Summer here, I don't look forward to it. I know a lot of people do. A lot of people like summer in Florida. Listen, it's just hot and muggy and humid and swampy. And once it gets above 90 degrees, which it does easily, you don't want to be outside. It's not a good time. But for some people, it's a good time. Anyways, Andreas, thank you so much for the suggestion. Thank you so much for the support. Hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you all later. Bye.